The first light of dawn filters through the thick mist, casting a delicate golden hue over the quiet Vietnamese village, where the silhouette of rolling hills looms in the distance. Lý Tiểu Nữ steps out from her modest home, the cool morning air brushing against her skin as she grips a weathered machete. Her eyes scan the horizon, settling on a wild banana tree deep in the forest, its broad leaves swaying gently. With purposeful strides she ventures forth, the crunch of dew-soaked leaves underfoot marking her journey. Reaching the tree, she raises the blade, her muscles tensing as she delivers strong rhythmic chops. The trunk splinters and falls with a resounding thud, echoing through the stillness. Breathing heavily, she hoists the hefty load onto her shoulder, the weight pressing into her frame as she begins the long trek back, her determination unwavering despite the strain. Back at her humble abode, she sets the trunk down and begins the laborious task of breaking it apart. With a small axe, she splits the wood into manageable pieces, the soft pulp inside spilling out. She gathers a sack of grain from a corner, mixing it with the banana pulp in a large basin, her hands working deftly to create a nourishing feed. "This will keep the flock strong," she mutters to herself, a faint smile playing on her lips as she scatters the mixture across the yard. Chickens cluck excitedly, ducks waddle over, their beaks pecking at the bounty, filling the air with a symphony of contented sounds. She watches them for a moment, ensuring they're well fed, her heart swelling with pride at her morning's work. Satisfied, Lý Tiểu Nữ grabs a woven basket and heads toward a nearby stream, the gentle gurgle of water guiding her steps. Kneeling on the mossy bank, she rolls up her sleeves and begins flipping over smooth, water-worn stones, her fingers nimble as she captures stone crabs and mountain snails. The cool water laps at her hands as she works, her basket gradually filling with the wriggling catch. Crabs with sturdy claws and plump snails glistening with moisture. "This haul will bring a good price," she thinks aloud, her voice carrying a note of triumph as she ties the basket shut, the forest's gifts now secured for the day's trade. Meanwhile, across the village, Truong emerges from his home, the first rays of sun warming his face. His peaceful start is abruptly shattered as he hears shouts and scuffles nearby. Rushing toward the sound, he finds a group of children locked in a chaotic brawl, dust flying as fists and feet clash. "Stop right there," he bellows, sprinting over. He wades into the fray, pulling apart two boys at the center, their faces red with anger and tears. "What's going on here?" he demands, his tone firm yet concerned. One boy, clutching a bruised arm, grumbles, "He stole my toy truck." The other glares, "It's mine. I found it first." Truong kneels, placing a steady hand on each shoulder. "Fighting won't solve this," he says gently. "Let's talk it out." After a brief mediation, he loads the boys onto his motorbike, their protests fading into reluctant silence. At the first house, he knocks firmly, handing the child over. "Please guide him, peace starts at home," he advises the surprised parent. At the second, he repeats the process, ensuring a stern yet kind word. "Stay out of trouble, okay?" he calls as he rides off, his heart heavy but resolute, the morning's unexpected challenge now behind him. The midday sun blazes overhead, its relentless heat shimmering off the village paths, creating mirages that dance in the distance as Lý Tiểu Nữ prepares for her journey to the city market. Her muscles ache from the morning's labor, but she adjusts the straps of her basket with care, the weight of the crabs and snails a testament to her early efforts. Their faint movements within the woven confines signal their freshness, a promise of quality for the buyers ahead. The walk is arduous, the dust rising in clouds around her worn sandals, each step a deliberate effort under the scorching sun. Her mind races with plans. Today's earnings could secure rice, oil, and perhaps a treat for herself. Reaching the bustling market, she navigates through the throng, finding a spot along the crowded roadside where the aroma of street food mingles with the earthy scent of her catch. She spreads a faded cloth on the ground, arranging the crabs and snails with meticulous attention, their claws clicking, their shells gleaming. Raising her voice above the market's clamor, she calls, "Fresh crabs and snails, come see, come buy." The invitation draws a steady stream of customers almost instantly. A woman in a flowing aldeia steps forward, her eyes narrowing as she inspects a particularly robust crab. "I'll take a kilo," she decides, counting out crisp bills with practiced ease. Another buyer, a man balancing a basket of vibrant greens, nods approvingly. "2 kilos of snails, please. My family will love these for dinner." The crowd swells, some haggling over prices with animated gestures, others praising the freshness with appreciative nods. Lý Tiểu Nữ hands move swiftly, packing orders into plastic bags, her fingers stained with the sea's salt. Within an hour, her basket is nearly empty, the clink of coins a satisfying rhythm in her pocket. She pauses to wipe sweat from her brow, savoring the success, but as she prepares to pack up, a sudden shout erupts nearby. A vendor and customer locked in a heated dispute over a spilled sack of rice, grains scattering like tiny pearls. She watches, her heart skipping a beat, but continues her task, folding her cloth with care. "A good day's work," she whispers to herself, slinging her bag over her shoulder, her thoughts drifting to the quiet sanctuary of home. Yet, the market's chaos lingers, a reminder of the world beyond her peaceful routine. Across town, Truong navigates the labyrinthine aisles of a sprawling supermarket, the cart's wheels squeaking under the weight of his selections. His mind is wholly on little Tieu, and he moves with a fatherly purpose, scanning shelves with a keen eye. He pauses at the snack aisle, his fingers brushing over bags of crispy chips, a rainbow of colorful candies, and a chilled juice box with a cheerful straw. "Tieu's going to be thrilled," he muses, adding a shiny red toy car to the pile, its wheels glinting under the fluorescent lights. He lingers at the beverage section, debating between fruit punch and orange soda, picturing Tieu's delighted squeal, and opts for both, tossing them into the cart with a grin. At the dairy aisle, he selects a small tub of yogurt, knowing Tieu's love for the tangy treat, and adds a pack of biscuits for good measure. At the checkout, he exchanges a few words with the cashier, a young woman with tired eyes and a faint smile. "Busy day, huh?" he remarks, stacking his items on the counter. She scans them with a weary nod. "Always. Your son will love this haul." He chuckles, correcting her gently. "Not my son, just a special boy I care for." As she bags his purchases, a commotion breaks out near the entrance. 2 shoppers clash over a toppled cart, goods scattering across the polished floor. cans rolling, fruit bruised, and a jar shattering with a sharp crack. Truong sets his bags aside, stepping in with calm authority. "Let's take it easy," he says, kneeling to help gather the fallen items, his hands steady as he returns a dented can to the cart. The shoppers mutter apologies, their anger dissipating under his quiet resolve, and he returns to his cart, the brief interruption adding a layer of determination. With bags in hand, he steps into the afternoon heat, the wait a small price for the joy he plans to bring Tieu, his thoughts drifting to the preschool ahead, unaware that fate is weaving a new thread into his story with each passing moment. The afternoon ebbs into a golden twilight, the sky streaked with vibrant oranges, pinks, and deepening purples as Truong revs his motorbike toward the preschool, the engine's steady hum a comforting rhythm beneath him. He parks near the gate, the gravel crunching under his boots as he strides into Tieu's classroom, the familiar scent of crayons, paper, and a hint of glue greeting him like an old friend. The room buzzes with the end-of-day energy, children gathering their belongings, but Tieu's face lights up as he spots Truong. The boy leaps into his arms, a crumpled drawing clutched tightly in his small hands, the paper edges worn from eager handling. "Unso jung. Look at my picture," Tieu exclaims, thrusting forward a colorful sketch of a house, crooked trees, and a stick-figure family holding hands under a lopsided sun. Truong grins, ruffling Tieu's hair with affection. "That's incredible, champ. Let's head home and show everyone." With Tieu perched behind him, clutching his waist with tiny but firm hands, they set off, the cool evening breeze a soothing balm against the day's lingering heat, the motorbike weaving through the narrowing village lanes. On the winding road, Truong's sharp eyes catch a solitary figure trudging along the shoulder. Lý Tiểu Nữ, her empty basket swinging with each weary step, her posture hinting at exhaustion after a long day. Her aldeia, once vibrant, is now dusted with the day's toil, and her face bears the quiet resolve of someone who has given her all. "Tieu Nữ," he calls, slowing the bike with a gentle twist of the throttle. She turns, surprise flickering in her tired eyes, the fading light casting soft shadows across her features. "Hop on. I'll give you a lift," he offers, patting the space behind him with a welcoming gesture. She hesitates, glancing at her muddy shoes and the damp hem of her clothing, then climbs on, her movements careful not to disturb Tieu, who giggles between them as the bike adjusts to the added weight. "Thank you," she says softly, her voice carrying a warmth that cuts through her fatigue, a subtle connection forming in the shared space. They veer toward a vibrant children's play center, its neon lights casting a playful glow over towering slides, sprawling ball pits, intricate climbing walls, and a mini carousel spinning lazily in the corner. The air is filled with the squeals of delighted children, the clatter of plastic balls, and the hum of a distant loudspeaker playing cheerful tunes. Truong lifts Tieu down, setting him on the ground with a gentle pat, the boy's eyes widening at the colorful expanse. "Go have fun, little man," he encourages, and Tieu dashes off, scrambling up a bright red slide with unrestrained joy, his laughter echoing through the space like a melody. Lý Tiểu Nữ watches from a nearby bench, a gentle smile curving her lips as she settles beside Truong, the wooden seat creaking slightly under their weight. "He's so full of life," she remarks, her gaze following Tieu's antics as he tumbles into a ball pit with a group of friends. Truong nods, leaning back with a contented sigh. "He keeps me on my toes." You've had a long day too, haven't you? She nods, her eyes distant as she recounts. The market was a whirlwind, a sea of faces and voices, but I sold every last crab and snail. It's tiring, but it keeps us going. Feeds the flock and keeps the home alive. He reaches into his supermarket bag, offering a candy and a juice box, the wrapper crinkling in his hands. Here, you deserve a moment to recharge, something sweet to lift your spirits. She accepts with a shy smile, the simple gesture bridging the space between them, the evening light softening their shared silence as they watch Dewey's joyful play. As Dewey tumbles down the slide again, joining a group of kids in a lively ball pit battle, tossing colorful spheres with gleeful shouts, the atmosphere lightens, the play center's energy infectious. He builds a small fort with another child, their laughter a bright counterpoint to the fading day. But the tranquility is short-lived as dark clouds roll in, heavy and ominous, a sudden rain pelting the ground with heavy drops that tap against the plastic structures. Thunder rumbles deeply, vibrating through the air, and parents scramble to gather their children. The once joyful space turning chaotic as umbrellas snap open and footsteps slap against wet pavement. Truong scoops up Dewey, his small frame trembling slightly, ushering Lý Tiểu Nữ under a sturdy awning with a protective arm. The three huddle close, water cascading around them in a shimmering curtain, the sound a steady roar. Dewey clings to Truong, his small voice trembling. "It's loud, Uncle." Truong comforts him, stroking his back with a reassuring hand. "We're safe here, don't worry. We'll ride it out together." Lý Tiểu Nữ adjusts her damp hair, tucking a strand behind her ear, her shoulder brushing Truong's, the proximity heightening the tension of the moment. The rain intensifies, lightning flashing across the sky in jagged streaks, illuminating their sheltered nook with brief, brilliant light. In that charged pause, Truong's hand finds hers, his fingers warm and steady against her chilled skin, a silent anchor in the storm. "Tieu Nữ," he begins, his voice low and earnest, thick with emotion. "Through all this chaos, your strength in the forest at dawn, your grace in the market's madness, your quiet care today with the kids, I've realized something deep, something that's grown with every moment I've seen you endure." She looks up, raindrops clinging to her lashes like tiny jewels, her breath catching as her heart pounds in her chest. "What is it?" she whispers, her voice barely audible over the rain's rhythm. He leans closer, his breath warm against her ear, the scent of rain and earth mingling between them. "I've fallen for you, your resilience, your spirit, the way you carry the weight of the world with such quiet strength. It's captured my heart entirely." Before she can respond, a deafening thunderclap splits the air, shaking the awning's frame, and Dewey buries his face in Truong's chest, whimpering softly. The moment hangs electric and unfinished as Truong adds, his voice steady despite the storm. "Let's get you home safe. We'll talk more when the sky's clear, when we can breathe again." With a protective arm around both, he guides them toward the bike, the rain a shimmering curtain around their unspoken promise, the night promising a continuation of this fragile, burgeoning love under a calmer sky.
After all, at 54, what did I have to looking forward to? The future was black. The waiter approached my table asking if I needed anything. To my surprise, I said, yes, if you know anyone here who is a recent widow or widower, I would appreciate talking to her or him. Again, to my surprise, she told me about Phyllis, a spas health director who had lost her husband several months before. I invited Phyllis to have lunch with me the next day, and we quickly established some common ground. We were about 10 years apart in age, but she had also